Welcome to the marking desk. It is a quiet, highly caffeinated space. Right now, I'm looking at my digital portal. The screen is glowing with the Cambridge marking interface. My live counter says I've marked 142 scripts today, and my mark verification meter is sitting at 99%. Today, we are diving deep into one of the most rigorous, high-stakes papers you will ever face. Cambridge AS Level Afrikaans Language, Syllabus 8679. Specifically, we are going to dissect the essay topics covering war, peace, and social and economic development. This is a thematic beast. It appears in every single exam series without fail, and every single year I sit at this exact desk looking at my screen, watching brilliant students absolutely sabotage their own grades on this exact topic. Today, this explainer is going to pull back the curtain on the marking process. I'm going to show you exactly what I experience when I read your words. We're going to look at the exact moments an answer climbs into those coveted top-tier marking bands or plummets into the failing thresholds. I am hunting for very specific assessment objectives, AO1, AO2, and AO3, and I know within the first 15 seconds of reading your introduction whether you understand them.
Right out of the gate, I need you to understand the ultimate trap. The principal examiner report highlights this every single year. The quote reads, "The classic mistake is providing generic answers not specific to the question context." Let me tell you what this looks like from my side of the screen. A script loads up. The candidate has flawless Afrikaans grammar. Their vocabulary is beautiful, sweeping, and dramatic. They write these massive, emotionally charged paragraphs about the general horrors of war or the broad concepts of peace. But as I read, my digital red pen is hovering, waiting to award a mark, and I can't, because they are completely dancing around the core command word. They have memorized a textbook summary, a generic set of facts, and they are just dumping it onto the page. They aren't actually answering the specific prompt in front of them. When you do this, the mark scheme forces me to cap your score at a C or a D, no matter how beautiful your language is. If your answer isn't firmly rooted in the specific context of the question, you are throwing away your A star. So to prevent that exact scenario, we are going to follow today's official marking directives rubric. First, core principles. Second, technical methodology. Third, evaluation insights. And finally, the final marking strategy. Section 1. Core principles. This is the theoretical architecture I scan for the second your script loads on my screen. Let's do a live marking split screen comparison. Imagine we have two candidates sitting in the exam hall right now. Let's call them Sam and Alex. They are both looking at a post-war economic development question. I can almost hear their internal dialogue clashing. Sam is panicking, thinking, I need to show the examiner everything I know. So Sam writes with incredible flair but dumps a massive, unorganized paragraph detailing every historical battle, listing out dates and isolated facts, hoping for superficial breadth. As an examiner, I am desperately searching this block of text for analysis, but there is none. It's just a list. Now look at Alex. Alex takes a breath and takes a completely different approach. Alex realizes that this isn't a history test, it's an analytical essay. Alex bypasses the superficial breadth and goes straight for analytical depth and cross-topic connections. Alex connects the historical disruption directly to specific economic vocabulary in Afrikaans. Instead of just saying a war happened, Alex explicitly links the disruption of supply chains during the conflict directly to post-war inflation rates. Alex is building a bridge between two concepts. Sam is just throwing bricks on the floor. And that clash between Sam and Alex perfectly illustrates the core truth of the entire Cambridge assessment framework: analytical depth over superficial breadth. I want to be really clear here about how command words dictate your tier. If the question says discuss, you need to explore multiple facets. If it says evaluate, you absolutely must weigh the importance of different factors and come to a justified conclusion. Top band marks are never, ever awarded for sprawling historical recounts. The benchmarks require logical, structured reasoning. You need to explicitly state how one specific factor altered the socioeconomic landscape in your given scenario. It is all about drawing explicit causal relationships. When I see a sentence that says, factor X led to result Y because of reason Z, my stylus is instantly checking off top band assessment objectives. Section 2. The technical methodology framework. This is the procedural engine of a top-tier script. Okay, now that we know the theory, let's talk about the exact procedural framework you must use when you are interacting with exam stimulus materials. This is the method mark strategy, and I award heavy marks for simply showing me you are following this exact process. Step 1, deconstruct the question. Underline the command words and the contextual constraints. Step 2, extract the data from the provided Afrikaans text. Don't just skim it, mine it for evidence. Step 3, select your analytical framework. Are you arguing cause and effect? Are you comparing and contrasting? Decide before you write. Step 4, execute with clear notation. Step 5, verify your results. Does your conclusion actually answer the prompt? And step 6,
present correctly. By following this sequence, you are proving to the marking desk that you are engineering an answer, not just guessing and hoping something sticks. Now, let's hover on step 6 for a moment, because presenting correctly is where thousands of candidates needlessly bleed marks every year. As examiners, we actively penalize you if you ignore rigid presentation conventions. You must use proper headings where applicable. You must use the correct formal Afrikaans terminology. Do not use conversational, casual phrasing when a formal economic term like economic contraction is explicitly required by the syllabus. Use appropriate formats and clear annotation. Make your structural markers incredibly obvious. The easier you make it for me to see your structure, the faster I can award you marks. When your script is a giant, unbroken wall of text, you are hiding your knowledge from me. Time out. Let me push back from the marking desk for just a second. Before I grade this next model paragraph and show you the massive mistake that costs thousands of candidates their A-star, let's secure your own academic trajectory. Hit the subscribe button for Ace the Exams right now at the handle @AceExams and turn on all notifications. Whether you are sitting for AS or A-levels, this is your direct channel to outsmart the marking desk. Okay, let's get back to the scripts. Section 3. Evaluation and Examiner Insights. Let's audit how you handle critical analysis. Let's go back to our candidates, Sam and Alex. They are mid-essay, and they hit a logical roadblock. Their evidence suddenly stops supporting their conclusion. The argument string is broken. This happens all the time. When you realize you are losing the thread, you need to deploy the mandatory deconstruct, solve, evaluate protocol. First, identify the info. Break it down into logical steps. Solve systematically. Check for reasonableness and make justified recommendations. If you make a sweeping point that peace brings economic growth, you cannot just leave it there. I cannot give you a mark for a statement of fact. You must explain why. Perhaps it's due to the resumption of international trade. And then you must explicitly link it back to the question's core premise. This is the Peel structure in action. Point, evidence, explanation, link. It is the ultimate tool for flawless argument connection. Now, let's talk about the 30-second data scan. When you are looking at a complex Afrikaans source text or data matrix, you need to extract the highest yielding trend. But more importantly, you need to evaluate the quality of that evidence. Top-tier candidates do 4 things perfectly here. First, they identify limitations in the data. Second, they identify assumptions made by the author of the text. Third, they spot alternative interpretations. And fourth, they note exactly how those limitations affect their final conclusions. If you just read the exam prompts data and accept it as absolute, unquestionable truth without critically evaluating its origin, you completely fail the critical analysis objective. You have to question the text. Let's do a live marking audit challenge. Comparative analysis is heavily tested in the War and Peace topic. If you write text A says this and text B says that, you are just giving me sequential description. That is not a comparison, and it will cost you critical marks. To secure top marks, look at the matrix. First, connectives. You must use explicit comparative connectives in Afrikaans. Second, evidence. You have to actively support each similarity and every difference with hard evidence from the text. And third, the absolute most important part. Importance. You must draw conclusions about the relative weight of the points. Which factor is more impactful and why? If you omit that final evaluative conclusion, it is an automatic, harsh penalty. Section 4. The final marking strategy. Let's open the grading log. To consolidate everything, let's look at the definitive rules for passing this specific syllabus topic. These are the top 3 most penalized mistakes pulled directly from the principal examiner reports. Warning number 1, using the wrong approach for the context. This happens when a candidate tries to forcefully apply a complex economic theory to a question that is purely asking about the social realities of post-war rebuilding. Warning number 2, forgotten format and presentation. A brilliant argument gets lost because it's a structural mess. And warning number 3, our classic trap, generic, non-specific answers, reciting a textbook entirely disconnected from the scenario on your desk. So, if you take nothing else away from this session, remember this one golden rule. This is the single most vital strategy to ensure your script climbs into the A-star tier instead of bleeding marks to descriptive fluff. Always link every single point to the given scenario. Do not leave it up to me, the examiner, to guess how your historical fact connects to the exam prompt. I am not allowed to guess. You have to build the bridge. Make the line of reasoning explicit, clear, and undeniably tied to the context. So as we close the marking interface for today, you have to challenge your current approach. Ask yourself, are your essays just reciting generic facts about war and peace? Or are you executing a precise, evaluated, deconstruct, solve, evaluate sequence? The mark scheme doesn't reward what you simply memorized, it rewards exactly how you apply it. Make sure you subscribe to Ace the Exams, at Ace the Exams, and click that notification bell for weekly examiner breakdowns. Right now, go to the comments and tell me your subject, your qualification level, and your target grade. I want to know who is ready to outsmart the marking desk. Keep working hard, and I'll see you in the next explainer.